Hey boo, it's Yvonne Michel coming straight from the den every Monday. Today you're listening to episode 4, Communicating in My Relationship. First, I want to say sorry for episode 3. I didn't notice how low the audio was, especially like when you're in the car and you want to listen to it, like when you're driving. So I'm so sorry about that. That will never happen again. Hopefully you still took like the message that I was intending to give to you guys. But other than that, let's get into today's episode about communicating in my relationship today. So first, let me start by saying that I am in a hetero relationship. That's when a man and a woman are in a relationship together. And I have been for the past 3 years, going on 4 years. Of course, they're like up and downs and times where we couldn't stay away from each other and times when we just couldn't stand each other. Well, for less than a night, like no more than a night. But I would have to say we've been together for so long because of our growth in our communication with each other, with trusting one another, loving each self, like loving ourselves and loving each other as well. And that's also what we learned from episode 2, Stop Being Your Biggest Critic. But mostly we learned that from each other because yes, you can grow individually, which is great. It's awesome. Grow individually. You need it, especially for your mental health. You need that. But when you're in a relationship, you're not only growing individually, you have to grow as one. And communication plays a really big part in doing that. The purpose of communication is literally getting your point across, being heard by that listener and vice versa. So, for example, I'm telling you on my podcast what I'm doing and how it can benefit you and how it's benefited me. I'm getting my point across, and the way that I can do it vice versa is how you guys can voice your opinion through commenting, giving me stars, anything like that. I highly, highly appreciate your comments. I would love to see more. I want to know what are you taking from this? What should I do more? What should I do less of? Like, let me know so that I could do my part and being vice versa and listening to and communicating with you guys. But going back, here are some things we do to keep a great communication skills in our relationship. So, one, I want to say it's one of the most, all of these are important, but one of the most important parts of this, and I'm pretty sure 99.9% of all relationships do this. So this is when you're removing all of your negative words, and otherwise we don't cuss at one another. We hardly ever cuss unless we're like telling a story or like how somebody got us fucked up. But like we're removing all those cuss words, especially when we're in a disagreement with each other, when we're arguing, because it comes off negative. And sometimes when you want to put your point across, you don't want to come off negative because that's when somebody gets very defensive, and we don't need to get defensive in disagreements because then we might say things that we don't want to say or feel a type of way that the speaker didn't intend for us to feel. Like, oh, I don't like your rubber. I don't like your chicken. And then it's like, well, damn, what you mean you don't like my chicken? What'd I do? And it's like, it was just too greasy. What you mean it was too greasy? And if they're throwing cuss words in like that, the person who's taking in that message is going to take it negatively, which is something that the speaker probably didn't even want to happen in the first place. So we just eliminate all those negative words because it just complicates things more. And honestly, why are you cussing at the person that you're in love with in the first place? I don't get it. Why are you cussing at them? Like, cuss words are for a negative, not all of them. Like, yeah, what's up, bitch? What's up, nigga? Was good? Yeah, those can be positive words too. Those can be perceived as positive or a form of communication when you're just saying hey to someone or just calling out someone as like your friend or something like that. But when it comes to disagreements or arguments and using cuss words, that will definitely, most 99%, 100% of the time, it will come off negative, which you want to avoid, you know? You don't want to sound negative because that person will get very defensive, and we all know how that works. Okay, 2, when we are like driving somewhere without each other, when we are on our way to work, when we're going to the store or whatever, as long as we're not together, even if we're family members and we're going somewhere, we honestly send each other's locations. Apple iMessages allows you to do that. We also share each other's location with each other as well. We think just doing that, it just gives us a sense of security, letting us know that the other person is safe, that they got to their destination safe. Like, hey, I'm about to go to work. I'm leaving out the house right now. Like, all right, cool. Let me know when you get there. And I swear we say this to each other every morning. Let me know when you get there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, I get there. Then I send my location. They know that I'm safe. Say, for example, I'm going to the mall or something and I just turn up missing. Then he will know that is the last locate. God forbid, of course. Gosh, I couldn't even continue that sentence without saying that. But, oh, excuse me. Just, he would know like that was the last location that I was at. So I should, maybe near there or anything like that. And it just gives us a sense of security. No matter like where we are in our relationship. Honestly, it just started in the beginning. It's not like we lost trust for each other and it was like, yeah, send me your location. I want to know where you at all the time. And it never turned into that. It was more just like, hey, I just made it to blah, blah, blah's house. Here's my location, just in case, whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool. And vice versa. He's like, all right, cool, great. Enjoy your time or whatever you're doing. Just, have fun, think positive, whatever. So that's just something that we do in that area as well. Nothing to seem like controlling or anything like that, because I promise you it's not like that. 3. Oh, and before I move on to that, don't make it to seem that it is controlling. If you want to bring this into your partner's attention, like, hey, I just want to start sharing my location with you because I just feel like it's more safe. Like, I feel like, it's a better way of communication. Bring it in a positive way. Don't bring it, yeah, we need to start sharing locations with each other because I don't know where you be at all times of the day and I need to know. Please do not do that. Do not go up to your partner and just say that. Like, please don't. That would they'll start getting real defensive real quick. Okay, and they'll be like, you ain't my mother. Why you need to know I'm at my mama don't even know I'm at all times of the day. Why you need to know? So bring it to them in just a positive way. Give them an option to choose yes or no, because when you give somebody an option, they're more receptive to, agreeing with you or more receptive to that, what do I want to say? I'll be losing my words and stuff. Like, they just would be more agreeable to, what you put on the table. Instead of, feeling very defensive about it. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I really want my partner to know exactly where I'm at all times of the day. Like, do they not trust me? Like, are they, doing stuff on the sly? Like, do they think I'm doing stuff on the sly? So it can just lead up to a whole bunch of confusion. And I would hate for you to bring up well, I listened to Yvonne Michel and she told me to bring please don't do that. Just be very positive and just bring it to the table. And if they're not ready, they're not ready. You can't force them, but at least, you can get to the point where you're not cussing at them at 24/7. That we can start there. That's fairly easy. Just don't cuss at your person and then y'all be cool. Anyways, let's go on to number 3. So number 3, when we're in a disagreement, and I tell you, this is, I want to say this is like the most important one. If you can't do anything else, please do this. And this not only works for your relationship, this can work with family members. It can work with friends. It can work with your managers, your co-workers. No matter who you're talking to, this is very versatile. It can work with everyone. So when we're in a disagreement, we allow each other to talk without interrupting them, without cutting them off. For example, I'll be like, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm done. And then they'll be like, and when I say like I'm done, then that means it's his turn to not only voice his own opinion to the conversation, but to respond to what I had to say. And this really, I cannot stress it enough. It really increases your listening skills, and it helps you to understand that your partner's point of view as well, because most of the time people are just listening for like 5 seconds and they're ready to respond. You need to really like slow it down, calm it down, listen to what your man has to say, or your woman, or whatever your partner has to say, so that you can really so that you can see their point of view, because that's important. That's how you grow from being not only individuals, but to grow as one, because you work better together, boo. I mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? And that was pretty much it. So like I'm just saying for like number 3. So like if you are talking, just say, hey, and when you're done talking, just be like, all right, I'm done. And then that means that person could talk next, or whatever you want to say. It doesn't have to be saying, all right, I'm done. You could be like, I'm finished, or you can go. And that means you're done saying what you have to say, no matter how long it is. 30 seconds long, 2 minutes long. You're voicing your opinion. That person should be listening to you. And then that allows them to respond to you. And that it takes away out of conflict, because then the person takes out conflict. That takes conflict out of the situation, because then a person may feel like they're not being heard. Maybe they feel like they need to start yelling over you, which shouldn't happen. It'll just make the situation worse. So this is a really, really, really good strategy that we do to grow our communication with each other, and it's been very, very helpful. And I suggest that you try it, not only, like I said, with your relationships, but it's very versatile. You could do it with anyone. This is a huge, huge strategy that I love to share with you guys. Number 4. So this one kind of just stumbled upon us. We like accidentally did this. I think what happened is that we just like turned our alarms on for like a particular thing one day, and we forgot to turn it off. So we both somehow have a 4 p.m. alarm on our phones, and once 4 p.m. hits, our alarm's just gonna go off. And especially like when we're not together, anytime my 4 p.m. alarm goes off, I'm like, oh, I bet his alarm going off too. So that allows you, or it really forces you to take your phone out. And at that point in time, we just really just do a checkup on each other. Like, yeah, we saw each other that morning, or if maybe we didn't, whatever happened that day. And maybe we didn't get the chance to talk. Maybe we're working. Maybe we're doing things that are just occupying our time. But once that 4 o'clock alarm goes off, we're like, okay, let's take the time to say hello. Let's see how they're doing. I'm just checking in on you. I miss you, love you, like whatever, just doing a check-in once a day, honestly, can change a whole person's mood and make them, have a more positive ending to their day or beginning of their day. And I'm not saying it like in a smothering mode. Like a smothering mood or anything like that. Like, don't smother them. Don't be checking on them every 10 minutes. Like, that's a little extra. But that one time a day, just checking on them and being like, hey, how you doing? I just wanted to speak to you, I missed you, or whatever you need to say. Just let them know that you actually give a fuck about them. And I promise you, they will actually be happy. Knowing that somebody cares about you is really good. It's a really good feeling inside. So that's what we try to do, no matter what day it is. Our alarm will always go off at 4 o'clock, and sometimes we'll be with each other and then we just be like, we was with each other all day. So that's a little different, but it's definitely really helpful, like when we're not together, our 4 o'clock alarm go off and we just be like, hey boo. Yeah, so then number 5. So we also try this. We don't do this all the time because sometimes it doesn't always end up the way that we want it to end up, and that's okay. That's normal. Shit happens. But once we finish like our disagreements, our arguments, whatever you want to call it, once we finish those, we actually just try to make up, and not like in a sexual way, but we just like, we kiss, we told ourselves like we're gonna give each other 3 pecks and a hug, you know, just to show like even though we had this talk about whatever the fuck we just talked about, that we still in love. We're not gonna break up with each other over this. Like, this is not the breaking point. This is not the end. And like I said, that doesn't always happen. Unfortunately, we try to make it happen like more and more, but it's like sometimes it's just, it doesn't happen. Or sometimes like it's not like a heated argument, so it's like we probably ended up laughing up after all that and don't have an issue with it at all. So it's just like, it doesn't always happen, but we do try to make it a habit in doing that. And I think that's something that, you know, it's just a very simple reminder. It's simple, but it makes a big impact too. So it's just a simple reminder of saying like, we're still in love with each other. This is not gonna break us up. Like, we're gonna be okay. Like, we're gonna get through this together. Like, we'll be good. So, yeah, so that's it. I just gave you 5 strategies that we do to just build our communication skills throughout our relationship. And I gotta tell you, like, we are pretty much 100% on all 4 of them, except for like that last one. We pretty much 100% on all that. We don't really cuss at each other unless, you know, somebody's telling a story, unless like somebody else got us fucked up, like, and we just gotta tell that story like, fuck that bitch. Or when we driving, I'll be like, get the fuck out the way. I know all y'all be like that, so don't even be, I know y'all laughing. So, and then the second one, we do send our locations, not off some I don't trust you type shit, but it's just like, we just do it to as a sense of security. Number 3, we do, anytime we are in a disagreement or we're having like a very serious conversation, we allow the other person to talk. We don't cut them off. We try to really just let that person talk and let them say they're done when they're done. And that means the other person can chime in. And then number 4 would be that we have just an alarm. We have like a little check-in every day. Especially the days when we're not together, we have a check-in with each other, which is lovely because it's really just, I think it's cute. Really, I think it's super cute. It kind of like keeps you a little bit in the honeymoon phase at one point, you know, just checking in, like just letting them know that I give a fuck about you. And then last but not least, just giving kisses, hugs at the end of a heated argument. Just let them know that this little thing is not ruining us. We're still in love with each other. We are not breaking up over this. I know some of this may seem impossible or maybe just corny, but this is what works for us. We are living proof that opposites do attract, and we learn new things about each other like every week, I swear. I mean, you will be learning new things about a person. It's only been about 3 years for me. Maybe it's only been about 5 years for you and you're still learning, 10 years for you and you're still learning, and that's okay, because honestly, we're evolving creatures. We're always changing. We're always learning new things. Everything we come across to, I really do abide by you learn new things every day, and I swear that I do. So especially working in the hospitality field, I definitely learn new things every day. if you are having trouble with communication, not only in your romantic relationships, but with anyone, try that I'm done method that we're doing. Let them talk, say I'm done. It helps you to improve your listening skills, as I said before. Also, just try not to cuss, because like I said, it just causes more negative responses. It causes people to get more defensive, and it just makes people feel, sometimes it just makes you feel like you're belittling them, like you're just, instead of you putting your message across, you're really just trying to hurt the other person. And that's not probably what you wanted to do in the beginning, but that's probably what is happening, especially when you are cussing people out, calling them bitches and hoes and fuck you and you ain't never been there for me. And yeah, anyways, I do want to let you know, for all of these strategies, both you and that other person do have to agree to do those strategies. It can't just be one person doing that strategy, because then it will never work. You both have to agree on not cussing at each other when you're arguing. Both have to agree of letting that other person talk before, and not cutting them off. You both have to agree on that, because if one person is only doing that, then only one of you is trying, in the communication within the relationship. So both of you guys have to agree for this to work. And that's why I said, just sit down, have a conversation with them, and let them know, hey, like, I want to try this. I want to be better in our relationship. Like, I want it to grow. I want us to not stop being individuals, but I want us to be better as one. Is what you should want if you're in a relationship. And I'm not saying that me and my boo are the best, because like I said, there's ups and downs. There's times when we want to be with each other all the time, and there's times when we just can't stand each other. And those days are especially when I'm going through my depression waves. That's also from episode 2. But and that's when that's when we, in those arguments, we try to do those kissing and hugging at the end, just to let each other know, like, this is not going to break us up. Like, we're going to be together. Like, that little thing is not going to just ruin us and have us get rid of the 3 years that we worked on together, that we built together. We're building a life together. Like, we're saying we want to be more than where we're at now. That little thing is not going to ruin us. And I think that's how everybody should think, especially when they're in a relationship. I'm not saying that all 5 of these strategies are going to absolutely work for you and your partner, but I would say give them a try, because they absolutely work for me. And it's gonna be hard. It is hard, especially if you have cussing in your vocabulary 24/7. It will be hard. It's a huge transition to switch out of. It's like changing your whole language. It is hard if you are used to always cutting somebody off when they're in the middle of their sentence, no matter if it's positive or negative. If you just, oh yeah, I agree with you, and just cut them off and just want to throw in your 2 cents, let that person finish their sentence. Before you say what you got to say, because they could be saying something totally different from what you are taking in from it. So let that person finish their sentence so that you can fully understand what their message was like pertaining to. So both of you guys need to do that in order for it to work. And I am repeating that again so that you can get it in your head before you just start using these strategies and the person's like, and you're probably like, why I'm not cussing at him but he cussing at me? Like, that's not fair. Like, I'm trying to be nice. And then you're just gonna revert back to just cussing at that person. So try it. It's amazing. I swear by it. It has definitely changed our relationship from beginning to now, especially since, like I said, it's been 3 years. 3 years, okay? 3 years. That's a long time in my book, okay? This is my longest relationship. I don't know how y'all be doing 10 years, 15 years. Some days I be like, all right, bye. Can't do this no more. I'm leaving. And then some days I'm like, damn, I really can't live without this dude. But anyways, good luck to y'all. Let me know how it worked out for you in my comments, because like I said, I love them. Send me some more. I want to know all y'all feedback. And later, boo.